So I think a lot of my growing into the woman that I am today comes back full circle to being a nanny to so many children that were experiencing inner turmoil like I did. I grew into a career unknowingly, started out buying CDs to becoming a consistent, supportive, loving, empathetic, wonderful person to just be around children that are navigating either loss of a parent or divorce, living in separate households, tumultuous relationships between their parents. And in that aspect, there are several instances where my involvement as a nanny and floating between households was truly beneficial for everyone and primarily the children. For one example, I nannied for a family that was very much similar to my parents. They did not speak to each other. And when they did, it was very, very ugly. And you could tell that it just really weighed on the kids and they didn't really want to interact with their parents when they had been interacting with one another. And their son left their soccer cleats at their dad's house and he had a big game that day. And I offered to come in a little bit earlier and I contacted the ex-husband and I just said, hey, so-and-so, your son left his cleats. I don't know if you're okay with your ex-wife going over there, but I'm going to assume you're not. And I was wondering if it'd be okay if I stopped by and grabbed those cleats on my way to the soccer game to pick him up for his game. And of course it was, yes, I don't want her at my house. I would much rather you go over there. I went, I grabbed the cleats. What could have been an insane afternoon and chaotic and just ugly communication between parents was quickly squashed by my ability to just float between the households. And at the time, I would spend a week at the mom's house with her routine, her schedule, her rules, and then I'd follow the kids and be at her ex-husband's house and follow his routine and his rules. And I think as long as you are offering consistency between both households, you're going to be setting yourself up for so much more success with or without a nanny. But a nanny is going to be that consistent, stable resource for your children. As another example, there was a child that I was nannying that was acting out at school, just hitting and kicking and biting kids in his class. And nobody for the life of them could figure out what's going on. The doctor said he was healthy. We pulled back the sugar and it dawned on me one day that he just really wasn't doing well with the different rules in each household. And I realized it didn't take me very long that the dad was putting him to bed at, 9:30 at night, whereas at his mom's house, like he's getting ready for bed at 7, in bed at 7:30, asleep and lights out at 8. And so I could see that very big difference in just that piece of his routine that was contributing to that behavior, causing him to act out. And so, one of the big things about being a nanny is having those conversations with parents of, I'm noticing this is what's happening with your child. This is my recommendation. I'm happy to talk with both of you, or if you just talk with one parent, this is what I would recommend doing. I think you may need to be putting your son on a schedule that's similar to your ex's schedule. And, there's always that little bit of, no, I don't. My house is fine. I don't know what you're talking about. But, eventually they come around because they realize, yes, my son is acting out. And I am realizing this is really hard, especially, when you're scheduled to leave at 8:30 and he's still up and wired because I can't get him to bed till 9:30. And so we made that adjustment at the dad's house. Behavior went away at school. We started paying attention, treating us classmates better. And it's just like that little tiny piece right there that really contributed to having a more homeostasis family dynamic between the households, even though the families really, the parents really didn't work well together. And so the other really great benefit of those of you that are going through divorce, you can share the nanny and it kind of lowers your expenses as well. So each of you can pay your nanny. You don't have to pay your ex to pay the nanny. You can each have that responsibility and make sure you take care of the person that's taking care of your household and your kids. And then in terms of training, a lot of my network and who I've communicated and contacted with over the last 20 years, we're all professionals in this area. Just like you'd hire a CPA to do your taxes, you hire a doctor to help you with your health. There are people out here known as nannies and household managers that this is what we were born to do. We were born to help you with your kids because this is what we love to do. Whether we have a teaching background or a daycare background, or like myself, where we've just been a nanny our entire lives, we come from many years of experience